1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. Bringing you his authentic perspectives on important topics.
They live in suburbs together. They live in the city together. They hang out together, all in the same family. We're the only idiots that fight because we want our voice to only be on one side. Like, does that even make any sense? And when the side loses, you lose everything. They, on the other hand, have a voice no matter what because somebody that looks like them is always in control.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point.
Well, it's just a skewed system.
Of course it is.
It's a lot of judgment.
But answer my question, though. Should we let people go? Should we let people go? Like, let's just forget about bail altogether. And if your neighbor commits a homicide and kills people up, if you kill people and they next to you and you just let them come back and live right next to you, they can live upstairs from you. Let them come in your house.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point. This is the best radio show in the state of Wisconsin. Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app.
Now, he's the mayor of the city of Milwaukee. He's a young man. Give him a chance. I only complain about things that I care about. What I want you to do is pretend like I'm in St. Louis. And all I'm asking the mayor and the Common Council president and the Common Council, show me.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is Dr. Ken Harris.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. He's back. Yep. Had a great time yesterday. I'll talk about it later in the 5 o'clock hour. The Sheriff's Office Town Hall with Sheriff Danita Ball. And so I think it went, first of all, I don't like anything I do. Right? So if you ask me how'd it go, I'll be like, it's okay. Other people said it went great. And, you know, sometimes people say things like that because they always want to be positive. I got to be positive. We got to be, it was okay. I think there was a lot, in all seriousness, there was a lot of information that was passed. There were a lot of things that I think both sides learned. People are worried about immigration. So when you try to explain to people this is how immigration works, people tend not to want to hear it because they have the same thing I was talking to Tori about. They have common sense justice. This is how it should work. Well, that's not how it works. It's statutory. The rules, the procedures, the standard operating procedures, the policies have to follow the law, both city ordinance, county ordinance, state law, and federal law, and you're kind of stuck. So how you think they should do something versus how it's actually done, because it's court defensible and it keeps you within, because you're acting under the color of law, because you represent the Constitution, there's just some things you got to do. And the way you do it is the way you do it. The problem is they don't give law enforcement an ability to, make mistakes. Sort of like the MPS school board. So we're going to look at whether or not this young lady should be getting paid the money she got paid, when in fact, does she even have the experience to get the job done? Well, we'll have to wait and see. We will have to wait and see what happens. From the MPS website itself, Dr. Brenda Caselius will begin her tenure as MPS superintendent March 15th. Didn't they say she was starting in July? Anyway. So we talked about it before Tuesday's special meeting. They voted. They hired her on behalf of the school board, blah, 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 blah. So now we're gonna see exactly what's gonna happen with MPS. So everybody's screaming, oh my God, she's earning $320,000. She's the highest paid public official. So what? If that's what she negotiated and that's what they offered, it's the open market. That's what she gets paid. Here's one thing I will never do. I mean, I like it, but I will never complain and fight and do all that stuff to say how much money somebody's making. The people that are writing and complaining and talking are getting paid just as much money with base salary and benefits and all that as everybody else. So if you're making $500,000 a year and you're complaining that somebody in the public service is making $320,000, you must be out of your mind. Under the terms of her contract, she'll earn $80,000 in transitional pay from March 15th to June 30th. Following this period, her base annual salary will be $320,000 starting July 1st, totaling $400,000 her first 15 months. Why is WISN.com so stuck on money? Cavalier Johnson earns $169,436. Tony Evers earns $165,568. Too bad. You should have had the taxpayers pay you better. Her salary is a 5.8% increase from her predecessor. So what? Albuquerque, New Mexico is a district with around 70,000 students like Milwaukee. The superintendent there makes $295,000. So what? What does that mean? That means that she negotiated a contract that was for her, and they said okay. So why are you complaining? You said you wanted somebody here that was going to fix it. You got to pay somebody to step into this mess. You got a hierarchy that's terrible. You got superintendents that are terrible. You got teachers that are terrible, students that are terrible, parents that are terrible, security that's terrible, nurses that are everybody. Or you have a group of dedicated people who are now open to change, creating some innovation so that kids can learn their reading, writing, and arithmetic and fill some of these upcoming AI-related jobs and cybersecurity jobs and all those things that are going to be needed in order for people to live in post-2020s. So comparing her to Whitefish Bay with 3,000 students and the superintendent had a salary for $212,000 means nothing. Means absolutely nothing. She should be the highest paid. We want to make the person incentivized to make the schools better. There's at least one public employee who makes more. Wisconsin football coach Lou Fickle. You know what the salary is? $7,775,000. Much of his salary is paid for by university donors. That's not the point. So what? Like it's this weirdness of people making what they're worth. You have a problem. Oh, you go into public service. Well, you can't make that much money. It's ridiculous. So I would love to have her on the show as soon as possible. Congratulations. She might change everybody's mind and flip the script, turn MPS on its ear, and turn it back. Additionally, Casalis addresses student concerns about the quality of school lunch. Why don't you do your homework instead of worrying about school? The students have talked to me about the food, and so I'm going to reach out to some of my colleagues nationally who have really stellar school lunch programs to get busy on that. Hey, why don't you work on the graduation rate first? Why don't you work on kids going to school? Work on the dropout rate. Work on making sure kids have the ability to read at grade level. I'm sorry, that's not true. at the level they're supposed to, 2 grade levels higher, along with math. Let's do that. Let's implement, you ready? AI, cybersecurity, and programming, computer science into every single curriculum. How about that? Is that okay? That might make sense. That way we can put out students who are able to actually take care of some of the things they're supposed to take care of. So I say, reluctantly, give her a chance. If she is not taken captive by Jill Underley's ilk, and she just rolls through and becomes another union-backing superintendent, well, then you got what you paid for, which really is nothing. Because I have a feeling she's going to actually end up turning out just like every other person who supports the union. Every other person who supports making the union happy, getting paid for 8 hours and working 6.5 or 7, and your product is terrible. Only other place I know where you can put out a bad product and get paid, that's TV and movies. It's the only place I know where you can be a bad actor and get paid, have a bad TV show and get paid, and put out a movie that doesn't make money and get paid. The only place. You can't do that in radio. You can't do that in TV news, but you could create a show, like a TV series or a movie, and be lukewarm for decades and make just enough money so the people that produce it put money in their pocket, but they'll keep doing it. That's what we do with MPS. We put billions. Where did the money go? And has anybody ever found the COVID money that went to MPS? What was it, like $500 million? Where's the money? So while we sit here and we complain about Donald Trump cutting government, when are we going to cut MPS? You have less schools. You have less students. Your budget actually went up, and you only had, and I'm not talking about inflationary went up. Your budget went up, and 10 years later, you have less than half the students. You literally have less than half the students you had. You had about 120,000+ students. You got 61,000 now. But you want more money. You want more. Now, if we're going to pay, let's pay through the nose one time and start rebuilding these schools. If you got and if you got lead in schools, you think those are the only schools that have lead in them? All you got to do is look at the paint, look at the walls and tell there's lead, look at the pipes and tell there's lead. Meanwhile, kids have been going to school there for decades, left, no big deal. Now lead is an issue, and it most certainly is, and it's something that we really need to watch. But there's no fire. There's no energy. And I say it again. Had we paid attention and given the amount of energy to MPS and our children the way we do Donald Trump, our children would do better than the Mequon or whatever the best school district is in Wisconsin. But instead, we waste our time, and we'd rather complain about tariffs, which we don't even understand. Complain about employment, which is something I'm going to be talking about in a few minutes with Steve Scafidi. We don't understand those things, but we complain. It's like standing in line, and your kids are in front of you, and the children in front of you are walking off a cliff, and you're too busy on your cell phone, texting. It's unfortunate. And now we have a new school superintendent. Who wants to be debriefed on the lead situation. It's critical the parents hear from us on that. We already know. And so right away, the most important thing for you is school lunch. So in other words, our children will eat well. They just won't be able to think well.
And that is Dr. Ken's Truth on the new 1017 The Truth.
Here at the new 1017 The Truth, we aim to be a staple in Milwaukee's Black community. We are committed to partnering with local organizations and supporting Black-owned businesses. We are proud to call Milwaukee our city and promise to be a positive reflection of our community. We look forward to celebrating Black culture and excellence with you every day as we make history and continue to uplift the voices in our city. Join us for the journey at the new 1017 The Truth, founded by Gruber Law Offices. Milwaukee, Black Talk.
Donald Trump is out of control, stopping payments for health care and food for hungry kids, eliminating the Department of Education, and letting unelected billionaire Elon Musk fire anyone he wants and get access to your most private information. We need a Supreme Court justice who will keep them in check before they go too far. That's Judge Susan Crawford.
I'm Judge Susan Crawford. As a former prosecutor and now as a judge, I believe in protecting you, your family, and your right to privacy, and that women have the right to make their own decisions about their health care. Because to me, that's just common sense.
Donald Trump and Elon Musk are both backing Brad Schimmel. He'll do whatever they want. That's why we need Judge Susan Crawford, the common sense judge who will keep them in check. Judge Susan Crawford for Supreme Court. Paid for by Susan Crawford for Wisconsin. Crawford for WI.com.
Great impressions will exceed your expectations. Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
At Great Impressions Graphics and Printing, they've been proudly serving the community for over 26 years. From their location at the corner of 54th and Burleigh in Milwaukee, their dedication to quality and customer satisfaction has made them a trusted name in printing and design.
Great impressions.
Great Impressions offer a wide range of services, including banners, posters, yard signs, business cards, programs, and postcards. Plus, they specialize in custom apparel printing, perfect for family reunions, sports outings, business promotions, and more. For your next project, visit greatimpress.com. That's greatimpress.com. Great Impressions. They're here when you need them.
Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
Hey, it's Eli Winders. Just a reminder, if you're feeling low, you're not alone. Life can get tough and we all need a hand sometimes. Don't be afraid to talk to someone, even if it's just to get things off your chest. You have to take care of yourself so you can take care of business. Remember, there's no shame in asking for help. You've got people who care about you. Reach out if you need to and check in on those you care about too. We're all in this together. This message is courtesy of the United States Air Force.
You are listening to Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. And, of course, bi-weekly, as always, we have the illustrious, stupendous, the magnanimous, the former mayor, Steve Scafidi. How are you, sir?
I'm good. What an introduction this week, Dr. Ken. I'm impressed.
I've been off for a couple days, so I got a whole bunch of pent up congratulations and salutations, but you're deserving of it.
Well, I appreciate that.
So, I don't really know where to begin. I thought about talking about the Trump presentation to the Congress, but as the week went on, it started to look like, too much stuff is going on this week. And then this morning, I turned on the TV, and the job numbers came out. And so I wonder, do people really realize the effect entry-level jobs have on the economy. So when we don't have jobs, a lot of those jobs are entry-level, and those are the people that learn how to work and lead and get promoted and make more money and all that. So what's your idea? Does this jobs number, does it scare you? Only 110,000 jobs, or what?
It is scary because even though that's around what they were projecting or what they're predicting, it's not enough. And the at least the people I've been reading and listening to are saying this is a soft job market, not one that looks like it's trending up or trending down. And when you hear those kinds of predictions, it suggests that the economy, which is probably even the bigger part of the story, is not trending in the right direction either. And I mentioned this on my show today. You know, these kinds of numbers where, you know, entry-level jobs, which I think are very important, by the way, that's how people get started. That's how they learn skill sets and learn to communicate effectively with their coworkers, something which is seriously a problem now, the lack of communication skills. You and I have talked about this before.
Yep.
It's just scary. You have to have these entry-level jobs, and those jobs often lead to other opportunities. And I think part of this is a cultural idea that people see on television, whether that's a reality TV show or something where somebody's already achieved something and they go, I want to be that person. But there often is layers and years between the start of that process and the final product of what happens there. And I think they miss that part. And it's not a good sign that we're sort of obsessed now with success without the idea that we're actually interested in earning that success.
Yeah, but they tend to think I can get paid more in like 6 weeks. Like I showed up every day, I did these things every day, and so I should get promoted. The flip side is nobody wants to work. Like nobody wants to go to work. Everybody wants to work from home. And that means if you want to work from home, that means you're not going to fast food jobs where you learn skills. You're not going to hospitality jobs where you learn to get promoted. You're not doing those jobs that give you higher wages, and so you'll never have a better living. So how does that bode in Milwaukee in about 10 or 15 years?
Yeah, it's sort of the casualness of our culture, right? You don't have to dress up for work as much anymore. You don't have to show up for work anymore. When you get there, you don't want to talk to anybody, so you kind of go to your little cubicle and do your work, whatever that is. And yep. I think I mentioned it before with communication so much, and you know this because you've been in jobs where you have to communicate, and we're both in jobs now where that's our sole skill set is we communicate effectively to people and explain things or try to educate and inform and sometimes entertain the public. But when you miss that, it's so much a drag on our country. And these are important times. Whatever you think about Donald Trump, whatever you think about politics, the economy is the driver of this nation. We're the biggest economy in the world.
Yep.
But we have to maintain what we're doing and expand on it with all kinds of different innovation and opportunities. And you're right on the work from home thing. While that was necessary during the pandemic, it exploded into something far different, which is sort of a preference. And I know people well enough, and you do too, Dr. Ken, when they have a preference or they don't want to leave their house, it suggests to me that there isn't that involvement in a job or a company or an organization that's committed to the highest level of performance. That's just my take on it. Doesn't mean you can't be a high performer when you're working remote. I just think the trend is not good.
Well, I think if you work from home, one of the trade-offs you're going to get is that you have to work a 10 or 12-hour day, not 8.
Sure, yeah, to get the work done. And the other thing about, people have argued with me about this is there is distraction at home that you don't have in an office.
Right.
There's people knocking on your door, or there's people in your family bothering you. In some cases, there's children that are getting in the way. And you stretch that day out, that's not even healthy to have a day, a work day that stretches from 8 to 12 to 16. You can't maintain that and have a happy life.
Yes, you can. It's called divorce.
Right. I'm not gonna weigh in on divorce.
So tariffs. Do people really understand what tariffs are?
No, it's amazing that that's sort of consuming our culture as well. Right now, we're having a sort of a trade war. But the president keeps flip flopping on whether he wants to institute them or hold back. Now there's a pause apparently to April 2nd. I think at the end of the day, most economists, not all, because there's certainly economists that agree with the president on this, say that this is another sort of tax on consumers. Because I've talked to and read a bunch of manufacturers, and they've already said they're going to pass this on, and some of those things have already happened, especially in the restaurant industry. I heard a guest on one of the programs on TMJ today saying, you know, if our prices go up in a restaurant, we're not going to eat those costs. We're going to pass it on to the customer. And a restaurant clientele, sometimes $1 here or $10 here on a bill can make a big difference in who shows up at your restaurant.
But in all fairness, you've been to Europe a number of times. There aren't many American cars there because of tariffs, because we can't sell them there. And that's on purpose.
That's the part. Yeah, that's the part that he's right on. It should be fair across both ways, right? Across the oceans, north and south. It should be fair. That's the part that the president's right on. How you get to that point, though, I think has to be a negotiation. Because remember, whether it's Europe, Canada, or Mexico, they're supposed to be our allies. And last time I checked, when you have allies, you're supposed to work together, not against each other.
Well,
there's unfairness in what both Canada and Mexico do and what Europe does. Right. We have to talk those things out, not try to go back and forth in the media and throwing tariff accusations at each other.
But we also know that in the end, America will end up winning because the jobs in Mexico will disappear and the 50,000 automotive jobs for the parts they make in Canada will disappear. And if we start to make them here, both of those countries have job issues.
I think that's what the President Donald Trump is hoping, because he has the cards, as somebody said last week. He said it actually to Vladimir Zelensky. We have the cards. We're the biggest economy in the world. We can get our way. I still think we need to have the support of our allies and to maintain that. It's just the way that I approach things, and irritating them or, as I said on my show today, pissing them off is probably not a good strategy for long-term success in a world that's occasionally pretty crazy.
But unfortunately, or fortunately, that's how he does business. That's how he's been able to do some really huge things. And he's won. So I guess time will tell. I guess April 2nd will be the day that we'll find out we're either going to pay $800 for dinner or we're going to pay $8 for dinner.
Yeah, I think you're right. Time will tell. And I know that at the end of that time, Donald Trump will certainly tell us that he won.
My guest is Steve Scafidi. Thank you, sir. He is the host of Political Power Hour, Monday through Friday, 9 to 10 a.m. on our sister station, 620 WTMJ. But don't fret if you miss him here every other Friday at 4:15. You can check him out on podcast, Spotify, Apple Music. He's there 24 hours a day. It's amazing you stay up 24 hours to do all those podcasts. It's amazing.
It's amazing what I can do at the age of 66, isn't it?
I tell you. All right. Thank you much, Steve.
All right. Always great to talk to you.
All right. Take care. 833-212-1017 is the number. You know, we gotta remember, if you want somebody to come down on their, you know, with their prices, you got to play ball with your prices, and you got to play hardball. And sometimes we don't like to see how the soup gets made. Right? We don't want to see that. We just want it to taste good, and we don't want to know that a cow got killed and they made the steak and they cut it and they processed it and cooked it. All we know is that the garnishment and everything on our plate looks great. But we just don't want to know how it's made. And that's what we're seeing. Unfortunately for me, many Americans can't stomach accountability. They can't stomach seeing how both sides work. They assume how one side worked, but they don't want to see both. Because then when they see both, they have to make a decision, and the decision might be outside of what they think it should be. And now with 1017 The Truth, traffic and weather, here's Debbie Lassica.
Southbound on 43, still a hefty ride from Capitol all the way down through the Marquette down to the KK River. Northbound 43 slowing from Kilbourne up past Keefe. Got an accident on westbound 894 just past Loomis, blocking that right lane. It's making for a nasty ride coming out of the Mitchell interchange all the way to that point. On the eastbound side, we've got delays basically backing up, well, actually on the bypass southbound from National Avenue down and around the Hale interchange past Forest Home. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight, partly cloudy skies, a low of 23. And then for tomorrow, partly cloudy with a high of 45. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 101.7 The Truth.
Don't touch that dial. More of Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Are record energy costs putting a squeeze on your fixed or limited incomes? With limited incomes not keeping up with the lingering effects of inflation, you might be one of tens of thousands of Wisconsin residents who are struggling to survive in the blistering heat of summer or the bitter cold of winter. While you haven't asked for it, the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund and your local energy assistance providers are here to help. No Wisconsin resident should ever have to face the challenge of living without heat or power or face homelessness. For a hand up, apply today and call 1-800-506-5596. That's 800-506-5596. Or visit www.kwwf.org.
This is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth for Axe Housing. Are you tired of paying a landlord rent when you should be paying yourself? Do you want to leave a financial legacy, or would you like to have a stable place to call home? Well, it's time for you to start on the path to owning your own home instead of renting. You can work with an Axe Housing coach, and they will teach you how home ownership can be a reality. Axe Housing has helped over 4,000 families in our neighborhoods. Many times your mortgage will be a lot less than what you're paying for rent, as an average Axe family who has been helped pays around $900 per month. No matter what barriers you think you're facing, Axe Housing coaches can assist you right now. An Axe Housing coach will help you create and stick to a plan and a budget and get you ready for home ownership. If you're not dreaming of home ownership by now, you certainly should be. Let's make it a reality with Axe Housing. Get started on a virtual orientation by clicking on axehousing.org. That is ACTS housing.org. Don't let where you are financially right now get in the way of your very bright future of becoming a homeowner. Axe coaches are here to help.
Life's better with American Family Insurance, because whether it's a family road trip in your dream car or hosting a family reunion in your dream home, we help you feel protected so you can enjoy those dreams with peace of mind. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Happy kids heal faster, and that's why Starlight is dedicated to improving the mental well-being of sick kids across the U.S. Learn how at starlight.org.
Seriously injured? Make one call. That's all.
This is Associated Bank Sports Update on 101.7 The Truth. It's powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Brandon Sneim. Spring training rolled on for the Brew Crew Thursday as they beat the A's 10-0. Jacob Mizorowski tossed 3 scoreless innings and didn't give up a hit or a walk and notched 3 strikeouts.
Swing and a miss by Esteuri Ruiz against 95-mile-an-hour slider, biting down and away from the right-handed hitter. That is impossible to hit.
Over to the NFL, where former Packers kicker Mason Crosby, who was with Green Bay for 16 seasons, has informed the club of his decision to retire with the team. Crosby is the franchise leader in career points. And lastly, over to college hoops, where the UWM Panthers basketball season came to a screeching halt on Thursday night as they fell to Oakland 72-64 in the quarterfinals of the Horizon League Conference Tournament. The sports update brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams. Member FDIC.
This is Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I don't wish you no bad luck, baby. Don't wish you no strain. I only wanted to expose your life to the finer things. I offer you my company, girl. You don't need no sympathy, you just need someone who can. Whatever you want. Whenever you need me.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. Billboard.com is reporting Dwayne Wiggins, co-founder of the group Tony, is dead at the age of 64. Dwayne Wiggins, founding member of the beloved 1990s R&B group Tony, died today at age 64. His family and the group announced. With broken hearts, we share that our beloved Dwayne passed away this morning, surrounded by family and loved friends. The group shared an Instagram post. Over the past year, he's been privately and courageously battling bladder cancer. Through this fight, he remained committed and present for his family, his music, his fans, and his community. The news just comes 2 days after the group shared on social media that Wiggins, who had the lead singer, guitarist, had been battling a health issue. We want to share that Dwayne Wiggins is experiencing medical complications. He's working through it one day at a time. That's what Tony wrote on March 5th, and he passed away today. So sad to hear, but as you can hear, Whatever You Want, one of their hits. So maybe we'll share some more Tony as we move throughout this Friday in honor of Dwayne Wiggins and Tony. 833-212-1017 is the number. Hey, we're calling all Black-owned business owners and entrepreneurs. Are you looking to share your story and grow your reach? We've teamed up with Associated Bank for our Black-owned business give back. Each quarter, 4 lucky business owners will win an opportunity to spotlight their brand and journey on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. To sign up for your business spotlight interview, visit blackbusinessgiveback.com. That is blackbusinessgiveback.com. Let's rebuild our community's backbone through exposure right here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. For official rules, head to blackbusinessgiveback.com. Associated Bank, member FDIC. So, I don't even know where to begin. Let me hit the talk and text line because this is Pop-Off Friday. I think I popped off enough. Yeah, silly. Somebody, Mackie said, black and bougie and proud. Go talented 10th. Where my hat at? Where I put my hat? Oh, scout boy. Okay. So I get talked about everywhere I go when I wear this hat. And I'm proud of both. I quit complaining about both. I don't want people to know. No. It's who I am. It's what I am. And if somebody don't like it, too bad. Bougie? Who? Where? That's what Reginald said. That's so funny, Reginald. Wow. Interesting. Dr. Ken went from she's earning what she deserves to get to work. That's right. So now that you're getting paid $320,000, yeah, get up off your duff. You're not in Kansas or Minnesota or somewhere in the Boston area anymore. Get the job done. And we're holding you to the standard because you're in the 1% now. Get the job done. That means heads need to roll. If people complain, if people want to back up the school board with complaints about the superintendent, back it up. Our job is to make sure this stuff changes and kids graduate. Same thing at MATC, same thing at UWM, Concordia, Carroll College, Carroll University, Carthage, everywhere. I don't care where you are, Parkside, don't matter where you're in school. You need to get up off your duff and get it going, right? That's just fair. You pay for an education, you should actually get one. Colleges are usually better at that. Public schools, not so much. And so when I have an issue with the fact that you can educate a kid on half of that at a parochial school, and the test grades sometimes are better, sometimes they're not, because many times, and y'all change my mind, it comes down to sometimes what parents need to put into their children. So, I don't know. I appreciate it. Congratulations. I'm still reading through this. Dr. Ken, I feel like the convo from the other day about the potential hazing incident was cut short. It would be nice to see you have one of your roundtables about it. Well, I don't know if I could have a roundtable about hazing because organizations, the people that talk about it don't represent their organizations. So unless I can get the president, which I guess I'll make a request of Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity and Omega Psi Phi shouldn't talk because there may be possible future litigation. You know, we can chop it up, but I would be the only one doing that. I wouldn't put somebody else in that instance. And I hear, as a journalist, as a news analyst, can talk about it without jumping into the fray. Had this happened in my fraternity, I wouldn't talk about it. I would let somebody else talk about it so that I don't jump into the fray. But it's like everything else. Oh, you're hiding something. You're hiding this. You're hiding that. Dude, a lot of this stuff is online. The things you would have to do, how long it takes, all that, it's online. But then you bash people, right? Who join. Oh, I'm not a follower. Grow up. The leadership in this country that's black, 99% of it owes it to black fraternities and sororities, the Divine Nine. Black Greek letter organizations made a lot of people great. It helped make me great, along with the Boy Scouts. Helped make me great. So stop it. Stop it. My mother was smart enough to put me in scouting because she knew I didn't have a father at home, and the men that ran the scout troop were from the Chicago Police Department. Great mentors. One of them has since passed away. The other, I talk to every other month like clockwork. So we could say it. But in the end, those are the types of things that make us great. Where'd I meet all that? Where'd I find out about all that? School. Public schools were different then. The teachers, even though you thought they were mean, actually cared about you. They actually made you and told you, hey, dude, what you doing? Stop doing that. You saw them in the neighborhood. You saw them around the town. Now, you don't get none of that. You get absolutely none of that. So when we come back, I'll dive back in. You have any questions? 833-212-1017 is the number. I'm also going to get back to the talk and text line to talk about my open and all the other stuff because y'all was screaming and hollering at me. Minister Kevin said, don't do it, Tory. 833-212-1017 is the number.
More of Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
This is 1017 The Truth's Kyle Wallace, and the time is now, Milwaukee. Truth to Power is your platform, and on my show, our community always has a voice. There is no topic that is off limits, and I always give you my authentic opinions on how I feel because keeping it real is the only way I know how to get down. Listen to Truth to Power with me, Kyle Wallace, every day from noon to 1 p.m. on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app and streaming live on YouTube at 1017 The Truth. Milwaukee Black Talk.
Donald Trump is out of control, stopping payments for health care and food for hungry kids, eliminating the Department of Education, and letting unelected billionaire Elon Musk fire anyone he wants and get access to your most private information. We need a Supreme Court justice who will keep them in check before they go too far. That's Judge Susan Crawford.
I'm Judge Susan Crawford. As a former prosecutor and now as a judge, I believe in protecting you, your family, and your right to privacy, and that women have the right to make their own decisions about their health care. Because to me, that's just common sense.
Donald Trump and Elon Musk are both backing Brad Schimmel. He'll do whatever they want. That's why we need Judge Susan Crawford, the common sense judge who will keep them in check. Judge Susan Crawford for Supreme Court. Paid for by Susan Crawford for Wisconsin. Crawford for WI.com.
What's poppin', Truth Nation? It's your girl Noni Juice from my friends at Steinhafels. Steinhafels Waukesha Clearance Center is dangerously overstocked. They must liquidate over $5 million in furniture and mattresses immediately. You can save up to 95% off clearance, closeouts, floor samples, and one-of-a-kinds. It all has to go. But if I were you, I would hurry up. Steinhafels Waukesha warehouse sale ends on Sunday.
Finding stable housing shouldn't be a struggle. The Milwaukee Rental Housing Resource Center connects renters, property owners, and partners to the resources they need, whether it's rental assistance, legal aid, mediation, or tenant education. No matter what your situation is, you do not have to go at it alone. Get assistance today by visiting renthelpmke.org. That is renthelpmke.org, or stop by their office at 728 North James Lovell Street in Milwaukee. At the Milwaukee Rental Housing Resource Center, they are here for all your housing needs.
Aging well means staying healthy, active, and independent. To age well, we need to take care of our bones. 10 million Americans have osteoporosis, a hereditary disease that makes bones weak and more likely to break. Thankfully, we can all take simple steps to improve our bone health at any age. Eat a healthy diet that is rich in calcium and vitamin D. Get regular weight-bearing exercise, which means on our feet. Get bone health tips at pathtogoodbonehealth.org.
You are listening to Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. Hey, Truth Nation, it's time again for the Tory Lowe Community Cleanup. So mark your calendars, Saturday, April 12th, 8 a.m. till 12 noon. We'll be cleaning up the city of Milwaukee. So to show your appreciation, everyone gets to get a free lunch provided by Cousin Subs. Again, that's the Tory Lowe Community Cleanup on Saturday, April 12th from 8 a.m. till 12 p.m. Bring the whole family and clean up our city. Tory Lowe Community Cleanup is presented by 1MKE. We are 1MKE and sponsored by Cousin Subs. 833-212-1017 is the number. That lady better come crazy Joe from Lean On Me and clean up MPS. Man, she'll end up in jail if she do half the stuff he did. Charles said, what do we even get for the taxes we pay when it comes to MPS? It's in disarray. That's because we let it get in disarray. We let our politicians talk to us and tell us the most important thing was Donald Trump. The most important thing was getting Governor Evers in office. The most important thing was getting the Mayor Cavalier Johnson in office. And we took our eye off the ball. Then we scream and we complain and we give all this energy to the wrong stuff. Presidents come and go. Governors come and go. For lack of a better, mayors come and go. Aldermen and women are who you should be paying attention to because they're the ones that group together and pass laws. The mayor can veto it, but they can override his veto. So what are we doing? Charles is right. We don't get anything for our money. We don't get anything for our money. We get children in a school system that's 48% black. And if you come in at a particular income level, economic level, you don't learn. See, I think we should stop looking at test scores and correlate. Well, no, don't stop looking at test scores, but let's correlate those test scores. You ready? To income of the family. And I bet you'll see a correlation of when you're poor, you do poor in school. And you'll have a few anomalies where upper middle class and rich people will do poor in school, and poor kids will do great in school, right? On average, all kids are able. Poor, rich, none of that. But when it comes to resources and making sure you have those things at home and parents that care, those are the things that matter. And I'm not bashing parents of kids that are bad in school, because there are myriad reasons why kids don't do well. Charles said, you are okay with the mismanagement of funds and MPS and neglect of funds while public officials keep getting wage increases, but the average don't. Well, first of all, you work in the private sector if you do, and that's on you. You choose to work for the city, you choose to work for MPS, you choose to work for the police department, you choose to work for the sheriffs and fire and all that stuff in public service. If you want to make more money, go work somewhere else. It's your choice. You don't get it because you're a public official. You don't get it just because, oh, I'm going to get a pay raise because I work for the government. You chose that. And if they don't pay well or they pay well, I'll never argue the open market for a person. If that's what you make and that's what the market will bear, God bless you. Because if I make $320 and you pay me $320, I'm taking $320. I'll take $350, but $320, okay. And so that's pretty much it. Martin said, Dr. Ken, welcome back. The only reason she got paid that much because Superintendent Posley got a raise in pay was already set. In other words, they already budgeted for the money. But that doesn't mean you have to pay her that. She should have earned that. You should have given her some incentives and said, these are the benchmarks you need to meet. And if you don't meet them, you don't get a raise. But that's not what we do. Why? Because it's what Charles said. They waste taxpayer money. But initially, you got to pay somebody to get them in. And because you're not getting paid that, are you worth that? She might end up being worth that. I don't know. Got to give her a chance, though. But that's what it all comes down to. That's what it all comes down to. What are we going to do while we sit here and wait? So let me start right quick, and I guess I'll get to it after the top 5 at 5. Hazing. What is it that you want to know? You think we should have a roundtable about it? Well, I don't know if I'll have a roundtable. That's a bit much. A roundtable is going to not really solve much. I can say a lot of things off the cuff, and then it's just talk radio, and it is what it is. Because I don't represent anybody. I'm not representing anybody. If they did something and they were wrong, they should go to jail. There's some mitigating circumstances that go along with that because risk management, there's some things that are built in that people don't know that they're going to have to go back and look at to see who's culpable. And sometimes you're the victim and you're culpable. Sometimes people in car crashes get in car crashes and die, and it's their fault. And so what do? If you crash your car into me and you kill me, is it my fault? If I'm stationary at a red light, it's 1% my fault because I decided to go out and drive the car and stop at the red light. But if you hit me and it's not my fault and you die, I don't know if you could come after me. Well, it's a court. People can do it, but I'm not a lawyer. I don't know. And so those are the things you need to take a step back, get rid of your common sense, and let's start looking at the law to figure out exactly what's happening. And we won't know that until they go and get discovery and look at all the forms and all the paperwork and all those signatures that were there, and then we'll find out. It's not going to turn out the way that you think it should turn out. Whatever you have in your mind, this is how it should be. It's not going to turn out that way. Why? Because nothing does. Absolutely nothing does. And so the sooner we understand that, the sooner we'll be able to kind of figure it out and get away with it. Hey, by the way, did they give away money today? To who? Do we know who won?
Yeah, Reginald Jones.
Reginald. Congratulations, Reginald. That's what's up. $5K. That's what's up. So congratulations, Reginald, to being our Gruber Law Office's 5K giveaway winner this quarter. And now we start the clock again. Who's giving it away next? Kyle. Okay, Kyle will be giving away some money, and then Tori Lowe, and then me. At the end of the year, when ain't nobody listening and don't nobody care because it's Christmas. Y'all see how they treat me? Y'all see how they treat me? That's how they treat me. You last! But I'm okay with it because the last shall be first and the first shall be last. My life. 833-212-1017 is the number. In the 5 o'clock hour, I got the top 5 at 5 coming up, and we'll be talking about some of those other things. We'll dive back into this whole hazing issue and some of the things. Anybody that's pledged a fraternity or sorority and you were hazed, give me a call. 833-212-1017. And I mean haze because we'll look at the state statute for hazing, and I'll be honest with you, football teams haze in elementary, middle school, AAA. What is it? AAA. What do you call that? Anyway, all that. They haze. They harass people. And we're going to look at the state statute after the top 5 at 5 and look at exactly so you understand what hazing is, what battery is, trying to think of some other ones, right? So we'll take a look at those physical and personal safety statutes that people understand, but they don't understand, and how that works. You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. Top 5 at 5 next.
Milwaukee Black Talk.
And Joe Biden wasn't very controversial. He wasn't. Now, he might have done some things in his long, storied past, but if you all have been in the same line of work for 46 years, you probably have done some questionable things, too. Joe Biden was a safe choice. He was a level of common sense. He was a level of stability. He was a familiar political commodity. Democrats don't have that right now. Democrats are caught with their pants completely down.
Listen to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, weekdays from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Hey, Truth fam. This is your girl, Melanie Ricks, and I want to remind you to tune into Nothing But the Truth digital show with me, Melanie Ricks, presented by Visit Milwaukee. Every Wednesday at 6 p.m., a new episode drops on the 1017 The Truth YouTube page. And since it is on YouTube, I hold nothing back. I give you all my hot takes on celebrity gossip and give you the tea on relationships that you don't want to miss. Subscribe to 1017 The Truth on YouTube so you never miss Nothing But the Truth digital show, dropping every Wednesday at 6 p.m., presented by Visit Milwaukee. Handcrafted, homegrown, world class.
Prostate cancer screening is a simple blood test. It's a simple blood test. Get it done. Your family history of prostate cancer increases the risk for all the men in your family. It's a simple blood test. Get it done. Prostate cancer is most treatable when it's detected early. It's a simple blood test. Get it done. Men, it's your life. That's why it's so important to talk to your doctor about getting tested. If you want info on how to take action, the Prostate Cancer Foundation is here to help. For more than 30 years, PCF, a leader in scientific breakthroughs, has funded cutting-edge research that speeds new treatments into clinics, helping patients live longer with fewer complications. Go to pcf.org to learn more about prostate cancer and how you can advocate for yourself. Remember, it's your life, and it's a simple blood test. Get it done.
Calling all big thinkers. The world's climate is changing. These aren't new facts, but it means we must think in new ways about how we can live, prosper, and provide energy for our world while protecting our planet.
Engineers are answering the call to create cleaner, safer, reliable energy. Solar power, harnessing the power of the sun to light all corners of the globe. Wind power, channeling a simple breeze to bring electricity to our homes. Hydropower, using the natural flow of water to generate electricity. Nuclear power, engineering advanced reactors that are safer, more reliable, and produce zero carbon emissions. Engineers are leading the way and empowering the next generation. Engineers answer the call. Brought to you by the National Academy of Engineering. Learn more at nae.edu.
Truth Nation, stand up and tap in. This is 1017 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. Bringing you his authentic perspectives on important topics.
They live in suburbs together. They live in the city together. They hang out together, all in the same family. We're the only idiots that fight because we want our voice to only be on one side. Like, does that even make any sense? And when the side loses, you lose everything. They, on the other hand, have a voice no matter what because somebody that looks like them is always in control.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point.
Well, it's just a skewed system.
Of course it is.
It's a lot of judgment.
But answer my question, though. Should we let people go? Should we let people go? Like, let's just forget about bail altogether. And if your neighbor commits a homicide and kills people up, if you kill people and they next to you and you just let them come back and live right next to you, they can live upstairs from you. Let them come in your house.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point. This is the best radio show in the state of Wisconsin. Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app.
Now, he's the mayor of the city of Milwaukee. He's a young man. Give him a chance. I only complain about things that I care about. What I want you to do is pretend like I'm in St. Louis. And all I'm asking the mayor and the Common Council president and the Common Council, show me.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is Dr. Ken Harris.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number.
Number 5.
All right, so this is my pop-off time from CBS 58. So I'm using this as an excuse. Y'all keep saying we shouldn't be firing government officials, right? From Madison, Wisconsin, Associated Press via CBS58.com, Wisconsin election officials voted today to force Madison city workers to sit for depositions as they tried to learn more about how nearly 200 absentee ballots in November's election went uncounted. The uncounted ballots in the state's capital city didn't affect any election results, but the Wisconsin Elections Commission still launched an investigation in January to determine whether Madison City Clerk Mary Beth Wetzel Bell violated state law and abused her discretion. She didn't notify the Election Commission of the uncounted ballots until December, almost a month and a half after the election and well after the results were certified November 29th. The commission hasn't made a decision yet on whether she acted illegally or improperly, but commissioners appeared flabbergasted at the failure to count the ballots as they reviewed the investigation during a meeting today. Chair Ann Jacobs was particularly incensed with Wetzel Bell for not launching her own in-depth probe immediately. This feels like a complete lack of leadership and a refusal to be where the buck stops. she said. Jacob said, you don't get to put your head in the sand for weeks. I am genuinely shocked by this timeline. Don Mills said it was a travesty that the ballots were never counted. You're telling the world that these 193 people didn't vote in what many thought was the most consequential election of our lifetime. Yep. Yep. Because that's what happens. We let people get away with stuff. We let things slide. We become lackadaisical to the point where you can just vote any old way. You can just show up, mail it in. Everybody, they sent me an absentee ballot. I didn't even ask for one. And if somebody else had got my ballot and filled it out and mailed it back in and signed my name, and then I found out later I went to go vote and they told me I couldn't vote because I voted absentee, that would have, I'd have been smoking. And by the time they would have found out that it was fraud, it's too late. They already counted and certified the vote. That's why people should be upset. That's why people should get mad. That's why you need to always watch the people that you put in office. Watch the people who get appointed to things. Watch the people. Yeah. Am I talking to myself? You know what I mean? Am I really talking to myself? And am I missing something that if you go to so many websites and the websites have so many pop-ups and ads, is it really worth watching it?
Number 4.
A Waukesha County judge ruled yesterday that a woman who stabbed a classmate to please the fictional character Slender Man will be released. Yes, from WISN.com, Morgan Geyser, 22, was ready to leave Winnebago Mental Health Institute after Judge Michael Boren initially ruled in January she could be released. But last week, the state tried to block that release, resulting in Thursday's hearing. Geyser, then 12 years old, stabbed fellow classmate Peyton Lautner in 2014. The state on Thursday detailed the books Geyser read and the drawings she created, and Geyser's attorney claimed none of these revelations are new. Attorney Anthony Cotton said, you're also aware of the fact that Ms. Geyser has been drawing disturbing things for a long time, and Dr. Lundbaum was aware of that when she suggested that Morgan was appropriate to be released, aren't you? That's the report, said Nicole Whitaker of Wisconsin Community Services. This is not new. Her doing the disturbing drawings is not a new fact at all. Agreed? Whitaker said, agreed. The judge will still need to review her release plan. It's unclear how quickly the Department of Health Services can get that done, but her next hearing is March 21st. So she's been in, 10 years? Is it time? Test the water, let her see if she can make it. See if she can make it outside under supervision. The other girl that took advantage of her and coerced her, I believe, into doing the dastardly deed was out already. And I got a problem with that. And so if you're going to let her out, and she technically wasn't sick, but yet she was, what's the word I want to use? She coerced Morgan into committing the stabbing. Well, I think that's worse. You took advantage of somebody's mental illness and actually coerced them into doing something. I don't know. I think the person that does the coercion is worse.
Number 3.
From CNN.com, the Trump administration said today that it's pulling $400 million from Columbia University, canceling grants and contracts because of what the government describes as the Ivy League schools' failure to squelch anti-Semitism on campus. Boy, if they could do that for racism. Anyway, the notice came 5 days after federal agencies announced they were considering orders to stop work on a $51 million in contracts with the New York City University and reviewing its eligibility of over $5 billion in federal grants going forward. It came after Columbia set up a new disciplinary committee and ramped up its own investigations into students critical of Israel, alarming the free speech advocates. But Columbia's efforts evidently didn't go far enough for the federal government. Universities must comply with all federal anti-discrimination laws if they are going to receive federal funding. For too long, Columbia has abandoned that obligation to Jewish students studying on its campus. Probably to some black ones, too. Education Secretary Linda McMahon said in a statement. She later posted on X that she'd had a productive meeting with the university's interim president, Katrina Armstrong, and anticipated working together to protect all students. Columbia vowed to work with the government to try to get the money back. What do you think? Should they have cut it? Y'all didn't cut it for when black people got harassed. Y'all didn't cut federal funding for schools when they wouldn't even let black people in. Oh. Isn't it amazing when people get in charge and things like support what they believe, and then all of a sudden, oh, that's normal. It's okay. No, it's normal and okay. I was just telling somebody that today. It's normal and okay for you because you're black or because you're white. Not because you don't understand what's going on, but it's normal for you. And so when it's normal for you, you think it's okay. So if all white people think it and if all white people do it, then it must be okay. But now it should be okay for everybody. But if it's something black people do, oh yeah, that's just them. I don't have to worry about that. You can dismiss that. Yeah, it's not important. And black people do the same thing. Oh, if you don't wear your hair like this or if you don't talk like that, you're not black. If you speak the King's English, you're acting white. As if white people are the only arbiters of like proper enunciation and communication. You know what the problem is with that? They're the ones that made it. Blah, blah, blah. Talking too fast. They're the ones that made it. They're the ones that get to dictate what's proper and what's not. And therein lies the problem. Who made white people the arbiter of everything? They just decided. They found like countries that look, we discovered the Amazon. Dude, Amazon been there since the world been here. Now all of a sudden you find it, you think it's great. We discovered light. Oh, yeah, because the sun really wasn't there until you found it. And okay, I'm being facetious, but you get my point? We discovered America. You did not discover America. America was not called America. So how in God's name did you discover something that wasn't even named? With people already there that were native to the land for centuries before you showed up. For millennia before you showed up. And then all of a sudden you think because you found them, and then what did you do? You took over, stole everything, gave them smallpox blankets, and then they all died. Say, look, we found it. Oh my God, they died and they left it to me. Well, I'm just going to declare eminent domain because we already here. We just going to take y'all land. Oh, and those of you that fight and argue, yeah, we going to kill you. And then later had to do a mea culpa. Yeah, we kind of messed up. So we're going to give y'all a pact and you can go have some casinos and land and all that stuff and do whatever you want to do. And black people still waiting. See how y'all got me because it's Friday? Two people within the Homeland Security Department have been accused of disclosing Department of Homeland Security operations amid the Trump administration's mass deportation plan, Secretary Kristi Noem said. In a video exclusively provided to Fox News, Noem is seen giving an update on the matter. She said, we have identified 2 leakers of information here at the Department of Homeland Security who've been telling individuals about our operations and putting law enforcement lives in jeopardy, she said. We plan to prosecute these 2 individuals and hold them accountable for what they've done. So whether or not you like Fox News or whether or not you like Donald Trump or the immigration issue or anything, when you have classified or confidential information and you give that information out and tell where they're going to do a raid, where people can meet them and distract them and quite possibly cause people to be killed, you should be prosecuted. I don't care who you are, liberal or conservative, black or white, you should be prosecuted. You should be locked up. That is unfathomable. Hey, I'm going to tell you where all the little kids play in the neighborhood, and you release it on a porn site. you release it on a pedophile site or something on the dark web. You should be prosecuted. You put people in harm's way intentionally and purposefully. You should be prosecuted. I'm just saying.
Number 2.
Did I miss number 2? Wait a minute. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so did I skip? Where's my other one? Okay. And 2, 3. This should be number 1, actually.
Number 1.
Why did it say number? Okay, that's weird. That's weird. I knew I was counting right. That was weird. That was bizarre. DJ Brother Z said, "Hey, dude, it's Friday. Move on." I was like, yes, sir. From CNN.com. So, right when I think it's safe to fly, a former American Airlines flight attendant pleaded guilty to secretly recording a 14-year-old girl using an airplane bathroom and having recordings of 4 other girls using the lavatories. Estes Carter Thompson III, 37 of Charlotte, North Carolina, pleaded guilty yesterday to 1 count of attempted sexual exploitation of children, 1 count of possession of images of child sexual abuse depicting a prepubescent minor. According to investigators, the girl got up to use the main cabin lavatory nearest to her seat on a September 2nd, 2023 flight from Charlotte to Boston, but found it was occupied. Thompson told her the first-class lavatory was unoccupied and escorted her there. That's what investigators said. She told investigators that before she entered the bathroom, Thompson told her he needed to wash his hands and that the toilet seat was broken. After he left, the teen entered, saw red stickers on the underside of the toilet lid, which was in the open position. Officials said with the words written in black ink and all caps, inoperative catering equipment, removed from service and seat broken. Beneath the stickers, Thompson had concealed an iPhone to record a video, investigators said. The girl used her phone to take a picture of the stickers and concealed iPhone before leaving. That's a smart girl whose parents taught her, be careful, trust but verify. Prosecutors also alleged that their investigation turned up hundreds of images in Thompson's iCloud account of child sexual abuse generated through artificial intelligence, as well as the images of the other 4 girls captured on earlier flights using the aircraft lavatory. Okay, this is the sick part and why I'm glad I'm not seeing this guy, because I would be urged to punch this guy in the face by me. Ages 14, 11, 9, and 7. American Airlines said following the arrest that Thompson was immediately withheld from service and hadn't worked for the airline since the phone was discovered. Attempted sexual exploitation of children carries a sentence of 15 to 30 years. I hope he gets 30. While possessing images of sexual abuse of a pubescent minor carries a maximum prison term of 20 years. Both charges also provide for at least 5 years of supervised release and a fine of up to $250,000 and restitution. It's going to be sentenced June 17th. And see, that's the difference between him and me. That's the difference. Me, I would just dig a big hole and drop him in. You know, one of those bottomless holes where you just fall forever and you scream. Except I would hope that this person is literally given the ability to never die. Like they would die and then they would wake up and then they would die and then they would wake up. I saw a movie like that where the person wasn't eternal. And so what they did is they took the person, they tied them up, put them in one of those, I don't know, in like a sarcophagus, right? But the sarcophagus was open where water could come in, and then they dropped them in the ocean. And so what would happen? for like an eternity, right? For hundreds of years, they would drown and then wake back up and then couldn't breathe and drown and then wake back up. Yeah. That's what I'd wish on this guy. That little over the top. Oh well. When we come back, hazing, assault, battery, talk about all those things. Up next.
Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Here at the new 1017 The Truth, we aim to be a staple in Milwaukee's Black community. We are committed to partnering with local organizations and supporting Black-owned businesses. We are proud to call Milwaukee our city and promise to be a positive reflection of our community. We look forward to celebrating Black culture and excellence with you every day as we make history and continue to uplift the voices in our city. Join us for the journey at the new 1017 The Truth, founded by Gruber Law Offices. Milwaukee, Black Talk.
Donald Trump is out of control, stopping payments for health care and food for hungry kids, eliminating the Department of Education, and letting unelected billionaire Elon Musk fire anyone he wants and get access to your most private information. We need a Supreme Court justice who will keep them in check before they go too far. That's Judge Susan Crawford.
I'm Judge Susan Crawford. As a former prosecutor and now as a judge, I believe in protecting you, your family, and your right to privacy, and that women have the right to make their own decisions about their health care. Because to me, that's just common sense.
Donald Trump and Elon Musk are both backing Brad Schimmel. He'll do whatever they want. That's why we need Judge Susan Crawford, the common sense judge who will keep them in check. Judge Susan Crawford for Supreme Court. Paid for by Susan Crawford for Wisconsin. Crawford for WI.com.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
American Family Insurance is a lot like Captain America. He protects the world.
It's just doing my job.
And we help protect your dreams with amazing auto and home coverage. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com. And see Marvel Studios' Captain America: Brave New World.
Suit up. We need to move.
In theaters February 14th. This film is not yet rated.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Now is the perfect time to join the Next Door family. Whether you're a parent seeking the best for your child or a professional ready to make a difference. At Next Door, children thrive in small classrooms with 2 teachers, exploring art, music, and STEAM. With special needs support, family resources, and kindergarten readiness, every child gets the attention they deserve. And they're also hiring. Enjoy competitive pay, great benefits, and opportunities for personal and professional growth in a fun, welcoming culture. Make a real impact in the community. Join Next Door today, where every child, every family, and every team member matters.
More of Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. Mariam said, this is sick. Yeah. People tease me all the time. Oh, you be giving your kids. They act like your kids are going to be spoiled. No, they're not. They're going to learn how to fight. They're going to learn how to take care of themselves. They're going to learn how, this is the stuff. Watch this. What's the most important thing you should pay? Okay, let me fix this thing. What's the most important thing you should pay at home? What's the most important bill you should pay at home? Anybody? What's the most important bill? Yeah, I'm going to get to hazing. What's the most important thing you should pay at home? The most important bill. People say your rent, your electric, your gas, right? If you're going to pay bills in order at home, this is me. I am not dispensing advice. I'm telling you what I do. Pay your insurance. Your life insurance, your car insurance, your home insurance. Pay your insurance first. Why is that? Because if one catastrophic thing happens, one accident, one fire, oops, I dropped that, and it broke, then you can never recover. You may spend the rest of your life paying somebody else a portion of everything you make because of a mistake. Pay your insurance first. If you drive a car, insurance. I would rather you repossess my car and I have to make payments to get it back than to have a car accident on a car that's paid for, and now I have to pay someone else for the rest of my life. Somebody else makes a mistake, burns down my house, I got insurance. You know what I mean? Then you pay for all the stuff that makes sure you can get to work and home. Your car, get your car fixed, pay your car note, gas. Otherwise, it won't matter. Then I buy food. Make sure I get food, because if I'm not nourished, I can't drive my car. If I can't drive my car, I can't get to work. If I can't work, I can't make money. If I can't make money, I can't pay my bills. But we do the opposite, and then you lose everything. Well, I don't understand. I paid my house bill. Yeah, but your house burned down, and now you're liable for something, and now you got, Cover catastrophic things first. If you drive a car, if you're a woman and you drive a car, this is just me. If you're a woman and you drive a car, you should have as new a car as possible. If you pay a car note, you should just pay. I hate car notes. I don't think a car note should be more than 3 years. Then I start getting paranoid. So if you can't pay for a new car in 3 years, pay for a 3-year-old car in 3 years. Something, but to make sure you have the newest car you possibly can. And then on top of that, after your insurance, get AAA. Get premium AAA. The silver card, where it costs you $200-$300 a year. And they tow you like 300 miles or something. They pay for the tow because they pay. Like you pay it, and they pay for it. Because God forbid you get stuck too far away from home and you can't get home, they'll just bring you home. Oh, we tow within 50 miles. You're down in Illinois, you live in Milwaukee. 50 miles is Kenosha. You're done. Now you got to pay extra and all that, or just pay the annual. That's called risk management. And we'll get into that. Risk management. So before we go to break, I wanna dive into a form of risk management, right? So in the state of Wisconsin, we have a statute called hazing. In this section, forced activity means any activity which is a condition of initiation or admission into or affiliation of an organization, regardless of a student's willingness to participate in the activity. That's the criminal part. The civil part, if you decided to participate in it, might have an adverse effect on how you get paid or if you get paid or anything like that. Sub 2. This is 948.51, sub 2. No person may intentionally or recklessly engage in acts which endanger the physical health and safety of a student for the purpose of initiation or admission into or affiliation with any organization operating in connection with a school, college, or university. Under those circumstances, prohibited acts may include any brutality of a physical nature, such as whipping, beating, branding, forced consumption of any food, liquor, drug, or other substance, that includes water, forced confinement, or any other forced activity which endangers the physical health or safety of the student. Class A misdemeanor if the act results in or is likely to result in bodily harm to another. Class H felony if it results in great bodily harm. Class G felony if the act results in death. And so then some people say, well, what about the punching and the kicking? Well, that is covered under 948.15. However, 948.51. However, we do have a statute called battery, 940.19, sub 1, that says whoever causes bodily harm to another by an act done with intent to cause bodily harm to that person or another without consent of the person. It's a Class A misdemeanor. That's the highest level of misdemeanor you get before serving. If you serve over a year, it's a felony, you serve over a year or more. It's kind of simple. Great bodily harm, Class H felony. Great bodily harm to another with intent to cause great bodily harm. In other words, you might be trying to do one thing and you cause another. Okay, we'll mitigate it to a Class I. You cause this, and so there's a difference between bodily harm or battery, substantial battery, and aggravated battery. When you start breaking stuff, that's aggravated battery. Substantial battery are those particular things that you injure, an eye socket, things of that nature, right? Cracked orbitals, right? Eye socket. Those types of things are considered substantial battery. Great bodily harm, you broke my arm. It created a substantial risk that you might cause me physical disability. I may never use my arm again. I may never use my leg again. Those types of injuries that can cause a physical disability that is discernible by an ordinary person. So when you do that purposefully, that's a problem. That is a definite problem. But we don't tend to see things that way, right? It was an accident. That's why if it's not covered under battery, it'll be covered under hazing. Whether the person said you could do it or not, they were probably intimidated. So watch this. If I can't get you on that, what is assault? Assault in Wisconsin has to do with intimidating or threatening a victim in a manner that implies that you will physically harm the person. The threat must be real and believable by who? A reasonable person to become an assault charge. Battery occurs when you lay a hand on them. So when you scream and holler, I'm going to kick your butt, and then punch them, it's assault and battery. It's included in the battery because you actually said you were going to do it, and then you did it. But people need to understand, your hand, an object, a deadly weapon, if you use it, it's battery. An ink pen, all those types of things. So when we talk about hazing, you have to go through exactly what happened to figure out what's going to get charged. They have an initial charge, but once they start questioning people and talking to people and hearing what happened and who did what and where did it happen, you are going to start to find that there may be additional charges or there may be a lessening in charges. But criminal has nothing to do with civil. And so we have to take a look at that. But what I would ask everybody to do is take a step back and let it go and let the court deal with it. Don't be so judgmental about fraternities and sororities because one person in one chapter in one group did something. When as a whole, people are fighting night and day. Probably not the good word to use, fighting. They're working night and day to make sure that type of thing doesn't happen. And when it happens, all the organizations are very quick and very swift to take action, but it has to be measured so that you can not interfere with the course of justice. Because in the end, that's what everybody wants. everybody wants justice. Everybody wants to be able to see an outcome that is commensurate with the crime. That's all. That's all. 833-212-1017 is the number. And now with traffic and weather, here's Debbie Lazica.
Delays along southbound 43 starting at about North Avenue all the way down through the Marquette to the KK River. Northbound's backed up from Kilbourne all the way up to Keefe. Westbound 94, watch for delays from 25th Street through the Stadium interchange to Mitchell Boulevard. On the eastbound side, we've got some delays from 84th all the way to 35th. Some delays along 894 eastbound as well, technically starting just south of Beloit Road down around the Hale interchange to Forest Home, and an accident on southbound 794 just before you get onto the Hone Bridge. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Tonight, cloudy skies, a low of 23. Tomorrow, partly cloudy with a high of 45. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazica on 101.7 The Truth.
Don't touch that dial. More of Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
This is Sherwin Hughes from 101.7 The Truth for Axe Housing. Are you tired of paying a landlord rent when you should be paying yourself? Do you want to leave a financial legacy, or would you like to have a stable place to call home? Well, it's time for you to start on the path to owning your own home instead of renting. You can work with an Axe Housing coach, and they will teach you how home ownership can be a reality. Axe Housing has helped over 4,000 families in our neighborhoods. Many times your mortgage will be a lot less than what you're paying for rent. As an average Axe family who has been helped pays around $900 per month. No matter what barriers you think you're facing, Axe Housing coaches can assist you right now. An Axe Housing coach will help you create and stick to a plan and a budget and get you ready for home ownership. If you're not dreaming of home ownership by now, you certainly should be. Let's make it a reality with Axe Housing. Get started on a virtual orientation by clicking on axehousing.org. That is ACTS housing.org. Don't let where you are financially right now get in the way of your very bright future of becoming a homeowner. Axe coaches are here to help.
This is your Milwaukee Public Schools City Conference Basketball Weekly Update on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth.
The City Conference Championship Week did not disappoint. Let's start with the boys' white division, where Milwaukee Washington Pergolders took on the Bayview Redcats. This was a tight matchup the whole way, but the Pergolders were able to pull ahead, winning the championship 76-71. Now to the Blue Division Championship game, where the Milwaukee School of Languages Hawks took on the Golden Meyer Owls. This game was a classic matchup as it went all the way down to the wire, but the Milwaukee School of Languages Hawks were able to find a way to sneak out a 1-point victory, defeating Golden Meyer 59-58 to win the Blue Division Championship. And lastly, in the Gold Division Championship game, the Rufus King Generals faced off against the Milwaukee Juneau Pioneers, where the Pioneers continue their hot streak, beating the Generals 82-72 to claim the Gold Division Championship.
This has been your Milwaukee Public Schools City Conference Basketball Weekly Update.
Finding stable housing shouldn't be a struggle. The Milwaukee Rental Housing Resource Center connects renters, property owners, and partners to the resources they need, whether it's rental assistance, legal aid, mediation, or tenant education. No matter what your situation is, you do not have to go at it alone. Get assistance today by visiting renthelpmke.org. That is renthelpmke.org, or stop by their office at 728 North James Lovell Street in Milwaukee. At the Milwaukee Rental Housing Resource Center, they are here for all your housing needs.
Make history at the amazing 10th annual UNCF Mayor's Mass Ball on March 29th. Join Mayor Cavalier Johnson for an unforgettable evening that will transform lives. Every dollar raised helps promising local students achieve their college dreams through vital scholarships. This premier gala doesn't just celebrate our community, it builds future leaders. Be a part of Milwaukee's most meaningful social event of the year. Reserve your place now at uncf.org/MMB. That is uncf.org/MMB.
This is Associated Bank Sports Update on 101.7 The Truth. It's powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Brandon Sneib. Spring training rolled on for the Brew Crew Thursday as they beat the A's 10-0. Jacob Mizorowski tossed 3 scoreless innings and didn't give up a hit or a walk and notched 3 strikeouts.
Swing and a miss by Esteuri Ruiz against 95-mile-an-hour slider, biting down and away from the right-handed hitter. That is impossible to hit.
Over to the NFL, where former Packers kicker Mason Crosby, who was with Green Bay for 16 seasons, has informed the club of his decision to retire with the team. Crosby is the franchise leader in career points. And lastly, over to college hoops, where the UWM Panthers basketball season came to a screeching halt on Thursday night as they fell to Oakland 72-64 in the quarterfinals of the Horizon League Conference Tournament. The sports update brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams. Member FDIC.
You are listening to Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Hey, little water. Hey, little water. Hey, little water. Listen. Hey, little water. Something's gonna get you, little water. Was his name. He liked to play strange games. He had a certain hobby he always loved to do. He thought it was so cool. He started making money.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris, 8332.
It didn't make much sense. I tried to ask him nicely when he planned to pay.
833-212-1017 is the number. Somebody saying insurance is all important. L. Dawson said, great suggestions. Insurance is pivotal. If you ain't got insurance, you should probably Yeah. If watch this. You ready? The poorer you have, you need to have the most amount of insurance as possible. The richer you are, you should have the highest amount of insurance you can afford. What did I just say? The same for everybody. Everybody got to have it. Life insurance, car insurance, house insurance, apartment insurance. And the other day I had Lanita Dawson in talking about that, talking about insurance. So we may have to have her come back in and go through some stuff with some folks because we need to really, really, really grasp what that means. Miriam said, I have a few questions regarding the fraternity incident. How do the organizations deal with situations like this? What can happen if events like this happen again? Well, first of all, they've been happening since time immemorial. Since the first fraternity to the last one. Like it happens in black fraternities, white fraternities, Hispanic fraternities, Asian fraternities. It happens in sororities of all races and sizes, right? Because it's a human nature. Now, I wish y'all got on battery and killing each other in the street the same way y'all dive on fraternities and sororities, but I guess that's different, right? And then you start this insulting thing of, they have college educations, they're in college, they should be so smart. Oh my God. Yeah, okay. Human condition, human people, we are subject to failure as humans. We fail. We do 95%, 90%, maybe on a good day, 60% of what we think is correct. The rest of it, I wouldn't release it to nobody. So let's not be so hard. Organizations deal with it by making sure they have all the mechanisms in place as it relates to insurance, as it relates to training, as it relates to risk management, as it relates to all those things, every I dotted and T crossed to mitigate if something happens, the right thing is done. And so we need to remember that this is going to be held just like everything else. It's not the first time and it won't be the last time. If it's that fraternity, it may be a different organization next time. So don't bash Omega Psi Phi. Don't bash Alpha Phi Alpha. Don't bash, oh my God, don't say my name. At some point, you got to stand up. And guess what? That's what the fraternity did. They stood up. This is what's happened. Boom, boom, boom. These are the things that we're doing. We're waiting on this. They made a statement. They don't. So of course, nothing will ever be good enough, right? We all complain about, oh, you got to be perfect, right? Even the people that are imperfect expect you to be perfect. They did the same thing the other day at Sheriff Ball's town hall. They expect the police to be perfect. The fact that the public is not perfect is why we actually need the police and sheriff's deputies to work in the jail. Correctional officers, right? Because you commit crimes. You have to be brought before your accuser. So if you didn't do that, we would need them. But you broke the social contract to treat people with, dignity and respect, to pursue justice. And when you don't, we got to go to jail. And we miss that fact because it's not us. So, we say, oh my God, they're doing terrible. And guess what? Bad things happened at the jail. People died. People were also held accountable because they were negligent. Look at what happened up at I believe it was Waupun. People were charged because they were negligent, didn't do their job, treated people poorly, and people died. So when you try to do the right thing, it's like the person should sit there and let you scream and holler at them so you can feel good about yourself. That's just weird to me. Like, who would let you do that? I wouldn't, whether I was an elected official or not. You don't have a right to scream and holler at me. You don't have a right to speak down to me. Now watch this. You actually do have a right to scream and holler and speak down. I just don't have to reply. I don't have to respond. I control me. So even if you think I did something wrong, or even if you think I said something wrong, I can appreciate that, but I'm not going to change. And you shouldn't either. So if you felt the need to get dusted up and scream and holler, hey, knock yourself out. In the fraternity and sorority situation, there are myriad laws and procedures and rules, manuals and conduct and all that stuff that stops 99.9% of membership not from doing the wrong thing, but helps them understand what the right thing is to do. And it's worked year after year after year after year, and you get one instance. And now all of a sudden people are wanting to ban this and get rid of that and destroy this and shock that. It is the ultimate tragedy. And that young man should not have lost his life. Everybody knows that. Everybody has that in common. That young man should not have lost his life. I don't care what he was doing. I don't care what was happening. He should not have lost his life. Nobody joining an organization should lose their life. Even the military. And we talk about the fact that the military doesn't haze, but I'm 99.9% sure there's some things that go on in the military that are like, that might raise your eyebrow. And it just is what it is. Let the system work. We keep talking about we want, and we only tend to want the system to work or like the system when it works for us, when it does what we want it to do. Now, are there some things people went through back in the day? Yes. Are there some things that people went through that are now illegal? Absolutely, yes. Are there some things that people went through that they should not have gone through? Absolutely, absolutely, yes. And fortunately, nothing happened. Today, systems are in place for that to never happen again. But because we're dealing with human beings and because we're dealing with people who can supersede and go around and pretend like they don't know what's going on, they'll be held accountable. And it's very clear. The organizations will hold you accountable. The police will hold you accountable. The university will hold you accountable. The question is this: if a person commits something like that and they're thrown out of a university, should they be able to go to another university and go to school? Should they be able to hold a job? And how far does that accountability go? We know prison may be in the future, but how far does that go? Pray for the family. Pray for the fraternity. Pray for the university. Because that's all we can do. And let justice, if you say you believe in justice, let it run its course.
Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, it's your boy Tory Lowe, and I need to let you know the award-winning Tory Lowe Show can now be streamed live on YouTube every day from 1 to 4. I am now bringing all the smoke on YouTube every single weekday. I need you to go to YouTube right now and subscribe to 1017 The Truth and check out the award-winning Tory Lowe Show live every afternoon. Milwaukee Black Talk is now streaming live on YouTube. Now that's powerful.
Donald Trump is out of control, stopping payments for health care and food for hungry kids, eliminating the Department of Education, and letting unelected billionaire Elon Musk fire anyone he wants and get access to your most private information. We need a Supreme Court justice who will keep them in check before they go too far. That's Judge Susan Crawford.
I'm Judge Susan Crawford. As a former prosecutor and now as a judge, I believe in protecting you, your family, and your right to privacy, and that women have the right to make their own decisions about their health care. Because to me, that's just common sense.
Donald Trump and Elon Musk are both backing Brad Schimmel. He'll do whatever they want. That's why we need Judge Susan Crawford, the common sense judge who will keep them in check. Judge Susan Crawford for Supreme Court. Paid for by Susan Crawford for Wisconsin. Crawford for WI.com.
Are record energy costs putting a squeeze on your fixed or limited incomes? With limited incomes not keeping up with the lingering effects of inflation, you might be one of tens of thousands of Wisconsin residents who are struggling to survive in the blistering heat of summer or the bitter cold of winter. While you haven't asked for it, the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund and your local energy assistance providers are here to help. No Wisconsin resident should ever have to face the challenge of living without heat or power or face homelessness. For a hand up, apply today and call 1-800-506-5596. That's 800-506-5596. Or visit www.kwwf.org.
Experience, knowledge, results. That's what really matters when you need help after a serious truck accident. You'll need a lawyer experienced in fighting and winning for people just like you. Gruber Law Offices has the resources, strong track record of success, and a team of experienced lawyers to take care of your needs. We've successfully helped people injured in big truck accidents for more than 35 years. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
More of Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
At Great Impressions Graphics and Printing, they have been proudly serving the community for over 26 years from their location at the corner of 54th and Burleigh in Milwaukee. Their dedication to quality and customer satisfaction has made them a trusted name in printing and design. They offer a wide range of services, including banners and posters, yard signs, business cards, programs, and postcards, plus They specialize in custom apparel printing, perfect for family reunions, for sport outings, business promotions, and much more. So for your next project, visit them at greatimpress.com. That's greatimpress.com. Great Impressions, we are here when you need us, just like 1017 The Truth. I want to say thank you for being here this week. It's been a long week. It was snowing when I came in. I hope it's still not snowing and wet, but hey, it's spring. What can I say? Hey, God bless. Take care. Thank you, DJ Brother Z. Appreciate you. See, I don't get the let's get it. I don't get that because I'm not Tory Lowe. So I just get a salute and be like, dude, move on. So he just, waves his hand like, gone. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a great weekend. But again, once again, thank you, DJ Brother Z. He's been holding down the fort all week long. And I really appreciate all the help that he's given me this week. Hey, God bless. Take care. Hey, y'all. I'm out.